Assalamu alaikum. We are here with continuing my favorite top games of all time as of 2023, and we are now going from 21 to 30 or 30 to 21 essentially.
We had
Where
this
I will
argument last video. We're not going to do it again.
no. So without going into long discussions, let's jump directly to number 30, which is going to be a dexterity game called
Azul.
not dexterity, a puzzle game.
Azul.
Sorry. The classic puzzle game Azul. And this is the Azul original version, the first one. So Azul Summer Pavilion was in my 80s or 90s list, but this Azul is my favorite, and that's why it's on my number 30.
30, yes.
All right. So Azul is an abstract game in which you will be drafting tiles. You will be placing them temporarily in a holder in your place, and then you will be shifting them to your main tile pattern board. If you take more tiles of a same pattern then you can carry, then those are going to gain you negative points. So you have to think, which kind of tiles do I want to take? If you have already taken a certain pattern of tiles, then you cannot take any more of that pattern in a different row. You have to see the picture and you have to understand how the game works, but essentially you're trying to complete a certain kind of pattern which is going to give you more points. If you already have a block in that specific location, you place another one, you gain more points. But if you place two tiles separate from each other, then you get less points, but that might be easier. So you have to always see what's going to be working best for you. Why this one is actually higher for me is, of course, the nostalgia factor. This was the first Azul that we played, first of all, and the components in this one, the bakelite tiles,
the chunkiness.
these are like candy you want to put in your mouth.
Yes.
You want to put all game components in mouth.
We have a problem.
But other than that, I think this is a much superior game because I play this mostly with as 2-player, and as a 2-player game, this game can be so much filled with hate drafting. You know someone wants to take that tile and you are going to either take it or discard it to the negative points pile. You can do that so much. You can even calculate, if I take this, they are going to take this, then I will take this, then they will take this, and they will be at a loss. So you can calculate all your moves in a 2-player game. In more players, maybe this ranking will drop because in more players it's kind of becomes random. You actually have no idea what tiles will be left for drafting by the time the turn comes back to you. But as a 2-player game, this comes at my number 30. Ishaq.
Yes, I can say that I absolutely love the pure hatred, spite, and pettiness in this game. I love seeing the tiles and just collecting them before they can get to my father and seeing the pure sadness in his eyes. I love bullying people.
Alright, so that's number 30, Azul. Not a dexterity game, a puzzle game. On number 29 is
Forgotten Waters, one of my favorite games personally.
Alright, Forgotten Water is a crossroads game from Bloodhead Games, which is essentially a story game. The gameplay is very simple of this one because it comes with a storybook. You will be opening a specific storybook page. The game comes with an app which is fully narrated, and that's going to be the most fun part of it. The stories are really funny. The narrations, the voice acting is top class. It's going to read the story out, tell you which page to flip to in your storybook, and that page is going to depict the location where you are, plus it's going to tell you what are the interactive locations in that area. You will then be placing your characters, which are pirates, on different action locations. That okay, I'm going to go here, which is going to give me these 2 additional supply tokens, or this is going to let me increase my these specific abilities. Every character has certain abilities, which is works like a legacy game. They are increasing over time. You will be having a character progression track which you will be keeping for each and every mission. You will be taking track of that and then using those abilities. Well, when you go to a page which is going to include some fights, maybe between 2 ships or maybe with sea monsters, Then what you're going to have is using those abilities to have fights and see that your skill tests were good enough. You check those dice and see you were good enough to actually succeed those tests or not. So the more attributes that you have for a certain thing is going to give you better rewards, which can unlock more abilities, more personal stories even for you, because every time you do complete something, it you are able to get a progression track point which you can track, and you can mix and match characters, so every time the story can be different. So for example, I want to play with a character who is lovesick and is trying to find the lost love that he had once had, and you are trying to fill that story. If you were able to finish the whole game, even though the game story is entirely different, the game's mission might be about finding a cursed idol or necklace, even though that story is going on, but if I was able to complete my own personal story as well, get enough points for myself, my story is going to have a good ending as well. Otherwise I might have a mediocre ending or a bad ending as well. So sometimes you are being selfish in pursuing your own story rather than helping all the team crewmates succeed in the global mission. So that's a compromise you have to make in this cooperative pirates game. But the main area of this one is going to be, or the main key hook of this game is those stories that are told by the app.
Okay, so my thoughts, right? You're looking for them? The wit and humor in this game is top tier. Again, the voice acting and narration is also really good. The story is really nice. Artwork is wonderful. We were getting absolutely beaten to death during the fights. And I think that my favorite part of this game is that on your little character sheet, you have these sort of questions that you need to ask. That you like ask and you need to answer them. For like what just name an animal or an object or something. And then your characters, they will have little mini stories as you go on and complete their side
The
quests.
fill in the blanks will be filled by those words, and
Yeah.
they become very funny based on
It
that.
becomes very weird and very funny really quickly.
All right, so that's number 29.
Also, you were very selfish.
That's number 29, Forgotten Waters. On number 28 is
Galaxy Trucker, second edition.
Galaxy Trucker second edition, specifically because second edition has better artwork, much cuter artwork. The first edition had kind of gloomy artwork, even though the game is same. And the second edition is also the smaller game sessions are possible. The first edition was a giant game which took much more
I
time.
feel like the most common thing among most second editions is just change in artwork, nothing else.
Yeah, but in this one they changed the rules so that you can play shorter games as well.
Yeah, that thing, but I'm saying most common thing.
Yeah, of course, because these days now the artwork is very beautiful for board games, as compared to the olden times when artwork was a secondary thought.
Back in my days.
Alright. So Galaxy Trucker is a real-time tile laying game in which you will have a jumble of tiles and you will be picking those up to make a ship. These ship needs to have certain kind of rules. Each connector needs to connect to the same type of connector, two-faced connector, one-faced connector. You try not to have any open ends in your ship. You want to have maximum guns. You want to have maximum engines. You want to have maximum cabins. You want for your astronauts. You want to have maximum storage units for picking up loot on the way. You want to maximize everything, and you will not have enough of anything in this one, because in the end you have to compromise based on time as well as based on space or the shape of tiles that are available. Once you are done with your ship making part, because once the timer runs out or the first player is able to say this looks good enough, he will flip the timer and now everyone is in panic mode that they have to finish their ship, because once the timer runs out, whatever broken ship they have to fly with that ship. The second half of the once the timer runs out, the second half of the game begins, in which you will be taking different kind of hazard cards, which varies based on the difficulty and the level you are playing at, shuffling them up and then flipping those cards which are going to tell you different hazards. Maybe a meteor strike happening from the front, maybe there are pirates that are attacking your ship, maybe simple different planets will come and you have to send your astronauts to pick up those loot. But do you have now astronauts enough to send to that for that loot? Do you have, you found an abandoned ship which is filled with ghosts, so you can send your astronauts to get that loot, but you will be losing your astronauts. Do you want to risk it? When the pirates attack, the ship who is the furthest right now in the front is going to be faced with pirates. If they are able to defeat, fine, everyone is safe. Otherwise, the pirates are going to loot him and then attack the other ships as well. The meteor strike is going to strike everyone. You will be rolling dice and seeing which column or row the meteors are going to hit. Were you able to defend? Did you have a shield? Did you have guns to destroy that meteor? Otherwise, your ship is going to get broken into pieces. Maybe you collected some loot, your containers were there, and it hit that container box, and now the container is gone as well. If you by any chance survived and reached the end of all those hazard cards, then whatever is left of your ship, that's the points that you are going to get based on how many tiles were broken, negative points for them, how much loot were you able to provide, were you the first one to reach the end. And that's the game. Again, chaos. You make tiles and then chaos happens to your ship. Funny and fun, super fun game, the most loveliest chaos game that we have played, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless another chaos game comes. Till then, this is the best chaos game on this top 10 list.
We absolutely love it.
Yeah, so what's your opinion?
I am the best at this game.
Alright.
I will never stop boasting about how I'm the best and my father always gets his ship obliterated to pieces.
I don't like guns on ships. Ishal puts all the guns on all sides of the ship. It's like she's flying a gun.
I'm flying a warship.
It's not even a ship, it's just guns. One astronaut flying with 1,000 guns around him. Nobody touch me. That's Ishal's ship. Alright, so that's number 28, Galaxy Trucker. Let's move on to number 27, which is
Pandemic.
the vanilla, the classic Pandemic. Very simple, cooperative game from Matt Leacock, the original one, and one of the earlier games that I got. Just one of the earliest cooperative games that I ever played, in which you are trying to save the world from a pandemic. Different cubes are going to come out on the board, which represents different virus, and you are moving around to actually remove those cubes, cure the disease, have enough hand of cards to find the combo, which is you can then discard to actually cure those diseases once and for all. If you are able to cure all the diseases, then you are going to win the game. Again, I don't have to go into all the detailed description because pandemic is that much famous. So much memories. It's a classic. I've played so much of it. There are other variations of pandemic which are still going to come ahead on this list, but still the original pandemic is still there on my top. So we'll talk about other pandemic later on. All right, so that's number 27, pandemic. What do you think about the original pandemic?
The original Pandemic, well, it's a classic. Obviously, I like it. I don't have many feelings for it either.
All right, so that's number
'Cause I
20.
forgot.
That's number 26.
No, that's 27.
27. All right, pandemic. And let's move on to number 26, which is
Istanbul.
Istanbul. Te kuch na bol. Istanbul is a Spiel des Jahres winner and has a unique mechanism of worker movement. So you will be placing these tiles randomly which represent different shops. What you're doing is you are moving your merchant from one place to other, and as you move you're leaving your assistants on those locations. When you leave your assistants, you will be taking those actions. So you want to optimize the route where your workers are, and when you pick up your workers you will be doing those actions as well. What you want to do is pick up, for example, find the most optimum route combination that you want to pick up goods. Different goods are available in which you can fill your cart with: fruits, cloth, uh, gems. You will be collecting them and then selling them in different markets. There are different bazaars going to be there. One bazaar is going to give you more money for your goods. For certain combination of goods, one is going to pay you less, which might be easier for you to access. So which one do you go to? There are other going to be tiles which let you do some kind of gambling. There are tiles that are, you can go to mosque for different blessings and get permanent abilities. Essentially what you want is to collect gems. There are no points tracking, but if you can do certain kind of activities, then that's going to reward you those gems. As soon as someone has a certain number of gems collected, they win the game. And that's Istanbul, a very simple game but with a unique worker movement mechanism where the assistants get left off, and if you don't have assistants, you cannot move. You have to backtrack all that way to collect back your assistants, or otherwise lose a turn kind of to go back to fountain, which is a resting place, and then gather all your assistants to go somewhere else.
I do not remember much from this game, but I will try to say about what I do know. I do think it's a wonderful game. I There's lots of variety in the things you can collect, and I love the feeling of just having to go somewhere before someone else does.
Yeah, because if your main merchant is standing somewhere, then the other player cannot go there, or if they have to go, they have to pay the other one something.
Yeah.
So lira, the unit of that currency, there they have to pay. So sometimes you can block others as well, because you know, oh, they have enough goods, they are going to come to the emperor and pay those goods. I will come and block it and pay
Just
that money
be a
myself.
menace.
Yes. All right. So that's number 25.
25, no, 26.
I'm always messing up the numbers. 26 Istanbul. And on number 25 is
Star Wars Outer Rim. I did not play this.
no. So Star Wars Outer Rim is a game inspired from Firefly, the game, but on a much smaller scale, and I think it works fantastically. It's a pick up and deliver game if you boil down to it, but it comes with a unique semicircular map in which different planets are going to be there, and you can take, it's in the outer rims of Star Wars universe. You're playing different kind of bounty hunters, and you can take different kind of jobs. You can take jobs of delivering goods from one location to other. You can take jobs of hunting someone down. You can take jobs of delivering someone someplace else, and there can be different kind of quest that you can do as well, which includes skill checks. Whichever thing you do, you will be traveling from one location to other on your spaceship. You will be tracking different things on your spaceship. Each character is going to have some special abilities. You are going to have different kind of alliances with the rebels, with the empire, and the gangs group as well. And then you will be having shifting those alliances in your favor, or to avoid being attacked by them. You will be delivering those, for example, goods, or killing those bounties to gain money. When it comes to skill checks, then it will be certain steps. So you are doing a heist quest, then it will say, okay, to do escape from the jail, you have to do this kind of skill check. Okay, I have this in my character ability, I can do this skill check. If you pass, then go to next step, then go to next step. If you are able to do all those things, then you are able to complete the bigger quest and gain more loot. At the end of the game, whoever hits a certain kind of notoriety in the game, fame points, then they are the winner of the game. And that's what Star Wars Outer Rim is. The base box, the only one problem, I think the base box has less number of cards, so you kind of want to have a new expansion, because otherwise you will be seeing the same kind of characters, same kind of quest over and over again, which reduces the replayability. But that's essentially Star Wars Outer Rim. On number 25.
On 24, next up we have Archaeology, the New Expedition.
A game from Phil Walker Harding. Again, Phil Walker Harding makes very simple games, very enjoyable games. Archaeology is one of his more bigger games, I would say. The box size may be even smaller than other games, but I think it's a much bigger game than his other games, even though it's a card game. In Archaeology, you are doing essentially set collection. in how you do the set collection is that you will have different hand of cards representing different items, which are going to represent the cost or the worth of these items if you sell a certain collection of them. So for example, a broken tablet is going to tell if you sell two of them, it's worth a measly amount, but if you sell three of them, it's a good amount. If you sell four of them together, then it's a much better
Excelente.
amount. So there is a gradient given over there. How you will be getting those is on each of your turn you are going to dig, that is draw one card from the deck, but then using that drawn card and your existing hand, you can also trade from the market as well. There are going to be goods available in the market, so you can say, okay, I'm selling one of my this extra card which I'm not collecting, it's worth 3 and I can buy these 3 cards instead, or this one card worth 2 and this one card worth 1, I'm picking them up. So other players might have some idea what kind of sets you are trying to collect. But more chaotic fun, again, all the games must have some chaos element. The chaotic fun comes when a sandstorm comes in. When a sandstorm comes in, you cannot hold too many cards at the same time, because if a sandstorm comes in, then you have to lose half of your cards. So you want to claim the loot or sell your artifacts to the museum as early as you can, but also you want to be greedy and keep them, have enough set before you sell them, because sandstorm you have to lose 50% of your cards. The other card, action card, is a thief card, where if someone else plays a thief card, then they can steal one artifact from you. That's a bad feeling also. And these two cards never let you actually go beyond a certain hand limit, that you always have to sell them. Then there is also a mechanism of maps, and that's where the variability of the game is going to vary a lot, because the game comes with different kind of locations, pyramids, tunnels, tombs that you can explore using the map cards, and each of these locations are going to have some kind of unique mechanism which is mentioned on that tile. So every time this is going to add a variety. So for example, in the tunnel, it's kind of a push your luck game, so you can keep drawing from the deck, but if you ever exceed a certain number of value, then you lose all the cards. But you can decide, okay, I picked up 3 cards, the total value is 6, I'm still safe, I'm stopping before I exceed that number 7. So you can always push your luck. So in that way, the variety can be there as well. And that's a really lovely game, Archaeology. Your opinion?
My favorite part of this game is everyone is hunting for the map, and it's just pure chaos and tension all around. You keep stealing from each other. You're sort of excited about sandstorms in case that hopefully someone gives up their map, or that it just may come in the market. Everyone is, you don't see it, but everyone is basically mentally begging for one. And when you do get a map, you either get something really good or you get the worst thing ever possible.
Alright, so that's Archaeology New Expedition.
Next up on 23 is the initiative.
The Initiative. Now, this game comes from Cory Kaniska's new studio. Cory Kaniska has been there with Fantasy Flight Games for a very long time, but then he decided he wanted to make his own studio and come up with new type of games, and the Initiative was a new type of game that you have not played. It starts as a comic book in which the comic book characters have found another game inside that game, and they are playing that game, so you are essentially not
It's like a game
controlling.
inside a game.
Yeah, so Inception, that's what you're doing. And the game itself is very simple. You are just going on a map and you are trying to find different kind of clues on these maps, different symbols. The game comes with a plastic wheel of fortune like scoreboard, where you can reveal the location. So if you have found a specific symbol from the map, you go to a location, pick up a tile, and if that file folder has a certain map, that map is available on the card that you have on that wheel of fortune reveal location. You will open that up and it is going to tell you, okay, this symbol represents alphabet A. That's how you're trying to decode. You're trying to find these symbols which are related to the puzzle that you are playing. In chapter 1, for example, you will be revealing them, and then it's going to form a sentence If you are able to do all of that, you don't even have to reveal all of it. As long as you have revealed enough of those things that you can make sense of the answer of the puzzle, then you can declare, okay, we are stopping. The answer is this. And you will be opening all your Wheel of Fortune windows. And if the answer exactly match, you have won the game. But if you were wrong, you lost the game. How you will be otherwise losing the game is actually while playing, because the more you play this game, the timer is going to run out as well, because the deck of card is limited in which you have to complete. That represents the time you have to complete that mission. You are playing secret agents in that game, which are going in that office secretly and trying to pick up these secret folders and trying to find the information. But different kind of missions are going to add different difficulty. It's a story campaign made game in which every puzzle is going to be different, every map is going to be different. So these cards which you slide in your Wheel of Fortune is going to tell you how to set up the map. Sometimes it will have laser beams, sometimes the doors are locked, sometimes there are different enemies on the board which acts in various ways. How you play or move around is there are different cards which let you move around, which let you explore, but you always have to play them in ascending order. If someone plays a very high card, then you have essentially blocked others from moving around or doing that particular action, and you might have to do a reset action, which is a waste of turn in itself as well. The gameplay is very simple, but it's the story and the puzzles which become interesting, because the example of the puzzle that I gave you is the very early ones. Every puzzle is going to be unique. It's not every time a sentence that's going to be revealed. I cannot explain how they have made so much
Because
variety.
it just gives so much spoilers.
Yeah, it will be spoilers, but so good time
It's
we had.
amazing.
Yeah, so good time that we had with
I
this
don't
game.
think.
Plus, we finished the whole game, and then there are post-game puzzles as well in this one, and we played those as well. So I'm just cannot wait for the next one in this series, because we know there is going to be a next one.
There has to be. Once you finish the game, you'll know what we mean.
All right. So, any of your thoughts?
Amazing game. I have no words, but it's absolutely amazing. I want to talk about something, but I'm not gonna give spoilers.
All right. So that's the initiative.
Okay, next up on number 22 is Familiar Tales.
Familiar Tales comes from Playdead Games, again the developer who made Forgotten Waters and who made Aftermath, which was below on my list. So Aftermath is a combination of, let's take Aftermath, a story about different characters moving around, a simple dungeon crawler. Let's take that and mix it with Forgotten Waters, beautiful story, fully narrated storyline, campaign,
The
app, mix them together, and you get Forgotten Waters. And Forgotten Waters, you're essentially
not Forgotten Waters, Familiar Tales.
you're playing Familiar Tales. You get Familiar Tales. You will be having again the similar concept, a book, adventure book, in which different pages are going to represent different maps on which your characters are going to move. Every mission is going to tell a different story, different enemies that are going to pop up there, sometimes different rules, but it's much more simpler than Aftermath. The movement is much more simpler, the mechanisms are simpler. Instead of playing with poker hands, now you are playing a very light deck building game.
This is how I actually got into deck building. He tricked me into playing a deck building game.
But you liked it.
Yeah.
So these cards have different symbols. If you want to perform a certain action, you need to play the cards with those symbols, and that is going to enhance your action for that game, for that activity. You will be playing those symbols, but other players can also contribute with a specific symbol. They can contribute to those actions. Each character that you control is going to have different special abilities as well. You can equip different kind of equipment with your characters. You can search for new equipment for your characters. In the end, you're playing a dungeon crawl, but the main strength of this game is going to be the story of this game, where you are playing familiars of a sorcerer and who are trying to help a baby. And as the story progresses, now this is not a spoiler, when you will open the game, you are going to find out the components already there. So you are going to find a token for the baby, a miniature for the toddler version, and a bigger miniature for the teenager version of that.
Being an adult, yeah.
Yeah, young adult, whatever you want to call, for that baby. So you know that the story is going to progress through a longer era where this baby is going to grow. The map and the campaign tracker is going to show different areas, branching storylines, and a bigger campaign than what you expected from the cover. I do wish that they had already pre-packaged that as a hidden boxes, that all the campaign, second campaign or second era cards were already in the box, including the miniature. The third era was already hidden and in the side the box with the miniature. But that's not how the game has been made. Everything is open and you have to put those things in the box, which hides few things, which doesn't hide things. But I like when things are revealed and everyone is surprised. Oh, look, a new miniature. So what I did with my family was that I didn't show them those miniatures or new era cards. I put them in the box and I hid them. And only when they finished the era 1, they thought the game was going to finish. And then I showed them era 2 has opened. And only then I showed them, oh, now we have a miniature for the toddler.
And then I cried because I'm not a big board game person.
So the story is lovely. Of course, you are not going to like, you are going to both have a love and hate relation with the baby called Millie. Why, Ishal?
She is the most annoying little creature on this planet. She's adorable, but she's annoying.
Because you're trying to do both the things. You have to complete the objective, but she's getting annoyed as well. Well, she's a baby or she's a toddler, so she does those things and you have to calm her down. If she doesn't calm down, then she's going to attract more noise, which is going to cause more trouble.
I don't like this baby. Take it away from me.
So that's Familiar Tales, a lovely campaign that we played.
Got me into deck building.
Got Ishal into deck building, and after that she has been playing more and more deck building games. So, and this was my number 1 game of 2022 as well. So that's Familiar Tales on number
22.
22. So let's get on with the last one for today. On number 21 is
IceCool.
IceCool, a dexterity game finally.
Yeah, how did you mix up the...
Alright. So IceCool is a flicking game, and well, strengthen your nails because your nails are going to hurt after you play this game.
Maybe wear some gloves or something.
But this, well, with gloves it won't work because you need something hard to flick those penguins. So these penguins that come in this game have a semicircular, hemispherical bottom, and you're going to flick them and they are going to roll on the map. The game is essentially made of these boxes. Among boxes, you take these boxes out and, well, clip them together using the components given in the game. Clip them together to make a large maze kind of thing, which has different rooms with doorways connected to each other. And you are trying to flick these penguins to go through these doorways and collect fishes. The concept is very simple. But how you flick these penguins is the most fun thing. And that is absolutely amazing for me because you can flick it in the center and it will go straight. You flick it on the right side and it will take turn towards left. You flick it on the opposite side, it flicks in a different curvature. How you flick it with how much strength, it's going to take different kind of curves because of its hemispherical bottom. And the most cool trick that you can do, you flick it on its head. So it's shaped like a cone on its head side. So if you flick it with the head, it will pop its head down and it's going to flip. You can even make the penguin flip and jump over the walls and into the 3 rooms apart.
I never got it to flip like that.
Yeah, but I've done it many times.
And I don't like you for that.
So the tricks that you can do with this game are enormous. What you're trying to do is you're going to, well, each round of the game, one player is going to become the head student who is trying to catch these other penguins who have run away from class because they got hungry and they want to eat fish. And the head student has to catch them, and that's how you get points. The more students the head student catches, the more points he gets. Whereas the other players get points for the more fishes they eat by passing through these gateways, which have the fishes token on top of them. Once one round is over, then the head student changes. Every player gets to be the head student once in the game, and at the end you're going to reveal how many total points did you get, and that's going to be give you the end result of this game. One of the best games for kids, adults, and people with good nails.
Yes.
If you don't have good nails, please don't buy this.
They will break and they will hurt.
Maybe put some tape on your nails before you play, but do play it.
Yeah.
Just absolutely. If you don't want to do very cool tricks like the flipping one, you can still even play the normal one without hurting your nails. So don't let me scare you into it, but it's
No,
such a high game.
It is really a good game. Just just a little word of caution.
So I like to actually, when I open it, I leave it open for a while, set it up on a table, and
And
leave
then
it.
you practice it.
And whenever I will pass by it, I'll just keep flicking it and passing it. And now by just talking about it, I want to play it.
I want to play it too.
So we are going to go and play this game while you go and do something else. Maybe go check on Amazon and buy this one because it's recommended from us. So that's it for our top 10 portion for this one. Only 20 more games to go. That's it from our side. Hope you enjoyed this list. Happy gaming.
Happy gaming. I think it's still 30 games left to go.
20.
We still don't know
You go
maths.
get it, and we are going to go play IceCool.
Yeah, we still don't know maths.
IceCool, IceCool, IceCool. Let's go.